Lost in Time, Episode 1, The Road to World War II. It was a war that would claim the lives of over 70 million people. A war that spanned continents, oceans, and ideologies. But how did it begin? To understand how World War II ignited, we must first go back to the ashes of the First World War. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles officially ended World War I, but it didn't bring peace. It brought punishment. Germany was forced to accept full responsibility for the war, stripped of territory and burdened with crushing reparations. The treaty planted seeds of resentment, humiliation, and economic chaos. In that fertile ground of anger and instability, a radical voice emerged: Adolf Hitler. By the early 1930s, the Nazi Party rose to power, promising to restore Germany's pride, strength, and territory. And in 1939, Hitler's ambitions would plunge the world into war. But before that, we must focus on how Hitler became the leader of the National Socialist Party and the Fuhrer. The rise of Adolf Hitler is one of history's most chilling warnings. A failed artist, a decorated soldier, a passionate orator, who led a nation from democracy into dictatorship, and from peace into the most devastating war the world has ever seen. But Hitler didn't seize power overnight. His ascent was slow, deliberate, and terrifyingly legal. Germany, 1918. World War I ends in defeat. The Kaiser abdicates, and a fragile new democracy, the Weimar Republic, is born. But the peace that follows is anything but stable. Economic ruin follows. Inflation spirals out of control. Bread costs billions. Families burn currency to stay warm. In this chaos, extremism begins to take root. Among a group of bitter war veterans in Munich, a former soldier finds his voice. His name, Adolf Hitler. Inspired by Mussolini's fascist march on Rome, Hitler attempts his own power grab in 1923, the Beer Hall Putsch. He storms a Munich beer hall with armed followers, declaring a revolution. But the coup fails when met with resistance from the police. 16 Nazis, 4 police officers, and 1 innocent bystander are killed. Hitler is arrested. On trial for treason, Hitler turns the courtroom into a stage. His words echo with fury and nationalism. The judges are lenient. He is sentenced to just 9 months. In prison, he writes Mein Kampf, My Struggle, a manifesto of hate, anti-Semitism, and dreams of German expansion, all dictated to Rudolf Hess. Whilst imprisoned, he was seen as a hero in the working people's eyes. Mothers and grandmothers baked for him, sew clothes, write letters, some even love letters. All of this admiration fueled Hitler's ego and thirst for success. After his release, Hitler realizes he can't take power by force. He'll do it through the system. He rebuilds the Nazi Party into a political machine, fueled by propaganda, disciplined by fear, and obsessed with race and revenge. But in the late 1920s, Germany begins to recover. Extremism fades. Hitler becomes a fringe figure once again. Then comes the crash. In 1929, the US stock market collapses, and the shockwave hits Germany hard. Unemployment skyrockets. Businesses fail. Desperation returns. Hitler seizes the moment. He promises jobs, strength, unity, and a scapegoat. He blames Jews, Marxists, and traitors for Germany's suffering. His speeches electrify crowds. The Nazi Party grows from a few thousand to millions. By 1932, the Nazis are the largest party in the Reichstag, but Hitler still does not have power. Germany's leaders believe they can control him. In January 1933, conservatives strike a deal. They offer Hitler the role of chancellor, head of government. They believe he'll be a puppet. But Hitler is no puppet. Just weeks later, the Reichstag, Germany's parliament, goes up in flames. The Nazis blame communists. Whether it was staged or real, it doesn't matter. Hitler uses the crisis to demand emergency powers. Civil liberties are suspended. Opponents are jailed. Then comes the Enabling Act. Passed under intimidation, it gives Hitler dictatorial power. Democracy dies with a vote. In the years that follow, Hitler transforms Germany into a one-party state. The press is silenced, Jews are stripped of rights, political opponents vanish. He builds a cult of personality, glorifying war, sacrifice, and obedience. By 1939, Hitler's vision is in motion. Austria is annexed, Czechoslovakia is dismantled, and then, in September, he invades Poland. The world is plunged into war. Hitler didn't seize power with guns. He was invited in, supported by elites, elected by millions, empowered by fear, lies, and indifference. His rise is not just history, it is a warning. But before we get to the events that transpired, we must first learn about Hitler's roots.